morning, everybody. Welcome to Rockport Children's Ministry Online.
Good morning.
How you doing, Miss Angie?
I'm good. I'm good. We're at a new month.
Yes,
Our
new
stage
month.
looks different.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are done talking about Moses for now.
Yes, that's right. That's
We're
right. This
on
is why
to
it's very
something
happy.
new.
We're done with Moses.
Yes.
Talk about something new.
Yep. I love our new theme for this month.
Do ya?
Yes. It's called Breaking News. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. It's so much fun. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. But
That's
you know
right.
what I thought, Miss Angie, is maybe as we're getting people kind of ready for our new theme, we could do a game called Headline News.
Headline
We
news.
got 2 games today.
Yeah, that's right. We do. Ooh, we have this game and then we have a surprise game.
Oh, yes. So
we
headline
do.
news
Yep.
is we're going to tell a news story, and you're going to determine whether or not it's real or fake.
Right. Okay. So let's see what we got.
You ready?
They
All
get
right.
to choose real or
They
fake.
get to choose real or fake. You know what we haven't
Right.
done in a while?
What?
We haven't done like real or fake. We haven't had a
Oh,
run.
yeah, okay, so stand up, get up on your
Okay.
feet, and if you think this headline that we're going to share with you is real,
Then you run that way.
run this way.
Yeah. If you think it's fake,
Run that way.
run that way.
Get up,
All right.
stand up, go.
I would love to get up and run, but I can't.
Yeah, you might bump into that table
I
there.
don't. No, I don't want to do
And
that.
I don't want to bump into Moose.
No.
No, okay. So
All
we'll
right.
sit here, but you guys can run.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready. Okay, first one. In certain cities in Canada, they use Skittles instead of ice to make the roads less slippery. Because it's cold in Canada.
It is cold. Skittles instead of ice.
Yes. So they would just ride over the Skittles, go.
Yeah. I don't know if it's real or fake or not, but it would be very colorful.
Yes.
Right.
And it would smell good.
That's right.
It would smell like candy.
So, Miss Angie, is that real or fake?
It's fake.
Oh, it's fake. That would be so awesome if that one was real.
Wouldn't that be fun? And it would be
Yes.
so colorful and different and interesting. And you could say, our city's the ones with the Skittles all on the ground. Might be kind of expensive.
Expensive, and I
Oh.
wonder what it would leave. Colors would everywhere. As it melted, it would,
It'd be cool.
I guess.
The mice might eat it. That
They
could
might,
be a
yeah.
whole different problem. So maybe that's not good.
All right, how about
do
our
that.
second one?
Okay, second headline is father uses his sports car to pull out son's tooth, like a loose tooth. Real
So,
or
dad
fake?
uses a sports car to pull out his son's tooth.
Yeah, so I imagine like he tied, like some string or dental floss or something
to it,
excuse
and
me,
then.
at the bumper, and then and the tooth will come out.
So, if you think it's real, run that way. If you think it's fake, run that way. Ready? Go, go, go! What is it?
I had to look. It's real.
It's real. It is real. Actually, one of our families here, you remember they had a Nerf gun. They tied the Nerf bullet to some string, tied it to a tooth, and went boop, boop, and out came the tooth.
Yes, that's right. And then we gave them a popsicle.
That's right, because we always give popsicles when
That's
somebody
right.
loses a tooth.
Yep.
All right, what's our third one, Miss Angie?
Okay, third headline is goat is in police custody after chasing kids on their way to school.
A goat got put into police custody for chasing kids to school.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so if you think it's real, that way. If you think it's fake, that way. Go, go, go!
Would you run if a goat was chasing you? Would you be afraid at all?
I don't know, it depends how big the goat was. Those goats can get kind of mean.
Yeah, like they have the little horn thing.
Yeah,
That's a goat.
they look a little.
Yeah.
They look a little mean.
And they run
headbutt
fast,
you too.
I
They
imagine.
do. They do.
They always want to eat stuff. Like they want to eat your shirt.
Yeah, if
and
it was a
your
baby
hat and
goat,
stuff.
not afraid. Big
No.
goat, maybe just a little be
I had a
cautious.
baby goat try to chew on my son's hat one time when he was really little. We went to the farm. You go to the farm and you visit the
Yeah.
animals, and he was looking, and the goat was like nee, trying to get his hat. It was kind of funny, but it was
Is
in
it-
a pen.
Is it true or is it false?
It's real.
Oh, it's real. It is real or fake. That is absolutely
He's
real.
in
Isn't
police
that
custody. Do you
crazy?
think he's in jail with a little cup going diggy
Maybe.
on the bars?
All right, we got one last one.
Okay, last
real
one.
or fake?
Okay, last one. Elderly woman trains her 65 cats to steal from neighbors. Real or fake?
Elderly
Yeah.
woman trains her 65 cats to steal from her neighbors.
Real or fake?
All right, if you think it's real, go that way. If you think it's fake, go that way.
What would
I
they steal?
so hope this is real.
What would they take?
I
Can you
don't know.
imagine?
Like they could go by and take jewelry and stuff and pick it up and bring
They're
it back
pretty small.
to her. Not that I
Cats are
think
small.
stealing is right, but I just
No.
think it's just a crazy story if you could train a cat to
Yeah,
do
and
that.
they could go in a line, like, and they would, take one little thing and come back
So, all right, Miss H, is that real or is it fake?
It's fake.
It's fake. Oh, I
You
wanted
can't
it to
train a
be.
cat to do anything. They just
I-
sit around and go, yeah, bring me stuff. I'll let you know when I need the next meal. That's what cats do. That's what our cats do.
Oh man, well
Yeah.
I hope we have some more of these for the rest of the month. In fact, I know we do.
Yeah, we do.
But you know what? Let's get our hearts ready. Let's do some worship. Ready?
Okay,
All right,
I'm
let's do
ready.
some worship.
Let's go.
So to make you rich in love, you rain down blessings from above. Down, 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 you pour those blessings down. All my sins are washed away. In you it's a brand new day. High, 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 we're gonna lift you high. I will worship, 'cause you are worth it. I will lift my hands in praise. Give you honor all my days. I will worship, 'cause you are worth it. You are King above all kings. For your glory I will sing. Come to make you rich in love. You rain down blessings from above. Down, 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 you pour those blessings down. All my sins are washed away. In you it's a brand new day. High, 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 we're gonna lift you high. I will worship, 'cause you are worth it. I will lift my hands in praise. Give you honor all my days. I will worship, 'cause you are worth it. You are King above all kings. For your glory I will sing.
As high as the heavens, 24/7, is your great and loving kindness.
We'll lift you up, praise your name, Lord, praise your name.
Always remember the things you have done. Forgive me life through the gift of your Son.
We'll lift you up, praise your name, Lord, praise your name. I will worship, 'cause you are worth it. I will lift my hands in praise, give you honor all my days. I will worship, 'cause you are worth it. You are King above all kings. For your glory I will sing. Lift you up, praise your name, Lord, praise your name. Gonna lift you up, praise your name, Lord, praise your name. Gonna lift you
Good worship again, always is.
It always is.
And here's the thing. If we would have done the real or fake thing later on, I never knew ostriches could sing. Crazy.
What do you know about that?
Well, happy birthday to all your November birthdays.
That's right.
I hope
happy
you
birthday.
enjoyed that. And you know what? For those of you that are able to come here, you know what we got for them.
Lemonade.
Lemonade
That's right.
for you. So, you know, Miss Angie?
Yep.
We already did a game.
Yes, but you said we had 2 games.
We had 2 games, so we've got a different game,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a little
You're already
weird.
laughing. We didn't even
I
say
know
what
it's
it
a
was.
little
You're
weird, but
already
it's called activity freeze reaction.
freeze
Freeze
reaction.
reaction, right? So
Yep.
I'm going to read kind of like a scenario,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you've got to freeze in kind of like your face and everybody and like the reaction that you would have.
Like I had Botox, that kind of freezing face.
Yeah, it's like, right? Yes, yes.
It's like all stretched out.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. And you do like if it's scared, you know, or
Okay.
if it's sad.
So
you know,
what kind of face would you make if?
Yeah,
What
yes.
you're saying?
But
Okay.
guess what? So I played a little joke on Dwight. Just a little one.
Why?
Well, I told him it was called activity freeze.
It is. That's what you said.
And-
Activity freeze reaction. I see it in the
And I
notes.
sent him outside to do the freeze reactions because it's freezing
Oh.
outside.
Poor Dwight.
I know.
That's not very nice.
I know, but I always say, Dwight, how you doing out there, buddy?
I'm cold, Pastor Jeff.
Oh,
Thanks
how-
for asking.
How joyful you are at Dwight's expense. It's terrible.
Hey, Dwight, all right, buddy, here we go. Here's the first one. You ready? I got to read it here.
Oh, so he's going to make a face. Okay.
He's going to make a face,
All right.
and the kids can make a face at home
Okay.
in their warm homes.
In their nice
Oh,
warm
yes.
with their jammies on.
All right, here you go. Dwight and kids at home, how would you react if you saw someone doing something they may not be good for them or the people around them? So how would you react if you saw someone doing something that may not be very good for them or the people around them? All right, let me see what you got. That's interesting. All right, Dwight, all right. Yeah. Okay, all right, here we go.
It's
The
cold
next one.
outside. How many of these are there? I feel bad for Dwight out there.
I do too.
Oh,
Okay, Dwight, how would
Nice.
you react if you noticed a friend cheating on a test?
ooh. You noticed a friend cheating on a test.
Yes.
So what kind of?
Oh, I like
would
that
you make?
face. That's a good face right there. All right, Dwight. How would you react if you saw someone getting picked on? Hey, Dwight, how you feeling out there, buddy? I think it's cold. All right, there's only
Only one more, Dwight. Hang in there.
All right, here you go, Dwight. What if you saw some kids in your class at school and they were being disrespectful to the teacher?
Disrespectful to the teacher.
Yes. That's a good. That was.
Yeah.
You saved the best for last, Dwight. You say, Dwight, are you cold?
Pastor Jeff, can I come inside now? Oh, I'm
Are you?
coming in.
Come on in,
Sure
buddy. Hey,
is.
thanks, man. I really wanted to make sure people understood the idea of freeze. Okay.
I don't think he knew that was coming.
No, I don't. But we'll see you a little bit later. Okay, buddy.
Bye.
You know, Angie, though, when we see people making poor decisions around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we know better, we should be able to intervene no matter what, right?
Well, yeah, you say that. That's easier said than done sometimes.
It is.
Like, what if you jump in a situation, you know, like you said, let's see some of these. So, how would you react if you saw a friend cheating on a test? Okay, so we might tell kids, you know, well, you should speak up or tell that friend not to cheat or, you know, mention it to the teacher or something. Those are things we
Right.
might teach, but then, you know, if you're a kid, you could say, well, if I do that, that person might not want to be my friend. Right? So there's a risk there.
There is, but you know what? See, we just got done studying the Ten Commandments, and we know what
Correct.
God expects from us. And so we should always be willing to do the right thing in all circumstances, right?
True.
So I know as difficult as that is, we should always do the right thing.
Right. That's
Right.
true. We should.
And
It's hard
sometimes
sometimes.
it's tough. But guess what? We have a story today. Our Bible story today is about a prophet named Micah.
Okay. Oh, we're doing prophets. Are we doing
Yes.
prophets all month?
All month long.
Oh,
We're doing
that's
the prophets.
the breaking news
Breaking
theme, 'cause the
news, that's right,
prophets
because
bring
the
news.
prophets.
See what we did there?
That's right,
Yeah.
the prophets bring God's news to all the people. And Micah had a unique way of telling the news because
Yeah, he
people
did.
weren't acting the greatest
Right.
during Micah's time. And he had to bring some pretty hard news. And the risk was pretty high because
Right.
he wasn't liked very much.
No, because if somebody comes and tells you something that you like, you're all for that, right? But what
Yep.
if they come and give you some information that maybe you don't want to hear?
Yep.
Then what do you do?
That's hard. So we are going to take that to our favorite newscasters
Yes,
of breaking
that's
news.
right, we are.
We're going to send them on over to Cliff. Take it away, Cliff. Thank you, Pastor Jeff. Thank you, Miss Angie. I'm Cliff Castle, and welcome to Breaking News. Today we've got a great story for you. We're going to talk to the prophet Micah. You see, Micah was a prophet during Bible times before Jesus was born. Fun fact, Micah actually prophesied about the place where Jesus was going to be born. Kiddos, that's something you can tell your parents about. Now, today we're going to be traveling over to the Middle East because Micah's breaking some news. And that news might not be easy to hear, so we're going to take you out to Angela Busybody, who's on scene now near Jerusalem. Angela? Oh, yes, we have Angela now. Hope you're enjoying that warm weather in the Middle East. Out to you.
Yes, Cliff, thank you. I was planning on enjoying the warm weather here in Jerusalem, but guess what? It's cold here. Look around. The leaves on the trees are actually changing colors. I didn't know it did that here in Jerusalem, but here we are, and apparently it does. It was so cold that on my way over, I tripped on a piece of frozen camel stuff. Oh, man. I got some on my shoes. I hope I can get that out. But I digress. Yes, I'm Angela Busybody here with breaking news. I'm here today with the prophet Micah, who has just received some important news from God, and he is here to share with us what he's been told. So Micah, what is your message for us today?
Well, thank you, Miss Busybody. It appears that the prophets are leading people in the wrong direction. When they get what they want, they call for peace. And when they don't, they cry for war.
Ooh, sounds to me like some of them are speaking only out of self-interest. What do you think?
Indeed. And God has something to say about that. Pretty soon, those prophets will no longer hear from God at all. And it's because they only do what they want to do, and they don't listen to what God has to say.
But what about you?
Well, God still listens to me and still talks to me because I'm willing to share his hard truths. So you listen up, you rulers and leaders of Israel. It's time for some change around here. You're treating the people unfairly, and you're accepting bribes from people for money. And if you keep this up, our nation is going to be doomed. It's going to be doomed, I tell you.
Wow, you've really given us something to think about. Until next time, I'm Angela Busybody here with breaking news and some sobering words from the prophet Micah. Back to you, Cliff.
Thank you, Angela Busybody, with that great reporting. And that was some good breaking news. I can only imagine the prophet Micah was pretty unpopular back then because the rulers and the leaders are being pretty dishonest, and their actions were turning people away from God instead of towards God. Micah had a pretty tough job, but he stuck to it. He brought God's news to him that if they continued to act that way, terrible things would happen. Well, no matter what happened, Micah did what was right and followed God's word. That brings us to our big idea. When things go wrong, I can choose what's right. One more time. When things go wrong, I can choose what's right. This has been Breaking News. I'm Cliff Castle, and have a wonderful morning.
So that was an interesting news story, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great, Miss Angie.
Yeah, the reporter was pretty cool, and looks like it was kind of cold. Speaking of cool, in Jerusalem that day.
Yeah, it was probably about as cold as what I went through earlier. But that's cool that you guys sent me outside. I really appreciate it. No, it's fine. I'm fine now because I've got this nice sweatshirt that you let me know was here and didn't let me know earlier when I was outside.
Well, it wasn't me.
Cold.
In my defense, I didn't know that Jeff was going to send you outside to freeze. I just thought we were playing like a freeze game, like freeze tag. I didn't know he meant literally like freezing, like the Dwight Sickle.
Got it.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was Pastor Jeff then.
It was.
Oh.
It was all his
Good.
fault.
I'll be sure to say hello to Pastor Jeff later
Please do.
and thank him.
That's right. That's right.
Thank
that's right.
him. Yep.
So, speaking of that,
Yes.
the big idea for
Uh-huh.
this week, we're talking about prophets and delivering news and all this stuff, but the big idea was when things go wrong, I can choose what's right. And I think it's very easy to just say that, but I'm wondering, have you ever been in a situation where, something's going wrong and you didn't choose what's right? Like maybe you didn't step it, what?
I always do what's right, Miss Nancy. What are you
You
talking
always
about?
do what's right. And you always have done what's right, like forever?
Forever.
Yeah? You lie.
I am not lying. I was kidding.
We covered the 10 Commandments.
I know.
Doesn't
I'm
mean
sorry.
You don't have to do them.
I'm
because we're not
sorry.
talking
I
about
think
them.
everybody knows that I'm just joking around. Of course,
Yeah.
I've messed up like once or twice.
Oh, once or twice.
And maybe
okay.
had one or two situations where something I saw was going wrong and I
Yeah.
didn't really do anything.
Like what? You want to share that?
Oh, so you want me to share
Put you on
now?
the spot. It says share. Yeah, go.
So yeah, I'll share. So let's see. I think I was in 5th grade, and in our elementary school, we had recess.
Sure.
But I think adults should have recess. By the way, I think we should go for recesses at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go
snack
outside,
time.
run around, snack time.
Run around.
Rest your head on the desk.
Yeah, don't you get a nap? Like
Right.
when you're in kindergarten, you have naps or
Yes,
something?
and then your
Yeah.
manager plays 7-Up with their team.
I
Remember
used to love
7-Up?
7-Up. Yes.
See?
We always used to coordinate it with our friends. So the friends would always tap each other. Did you do
Yes.
that? Kind of cheating. Oops. But no, we never did that.
And then you feel all
7-Up
left out when nobody taps you, and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't get tapped on the head.
Yeah. Such a
It's
sad.
fine. I'll just pretend like somebody tapped me on the head and throw the game all off. Anyway,
That's right. That was fun.
yeah. Oh, so what was
What
the
were we
question?
saying?
you said
I don't
again?
have any idea. Oh, we're saying have you ever, sharing something when you see something's going wrong,
Yes.
but you don't, do the right
Yes.
thing maybe.
So I think when I was growing up, the memory that I have most vividly is it seemed like every recess, but it probably wasn't every recess, but it was definitely more than one time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bully at our school that picked on this one kid every single time you turned to the left or to the right. He was picking on him, and everybody was afraid of the bully.
Oh, sure.
And so I would love to tell you that I came in and rescued this kid from the bully's hands, but the reality is that I was just like the rest of the kids in the school playground. I was scared of the bully.
Well, sure.
And so I didn't stand up for the kid that was getting picked on. And I look back on that, and I just wish that, I or somebody else would have stepped in and done what was right. And it was clearly that this person was doing something to harm another person. But yet nobody really did anything.
No, but it wasn't just you.
So it
was
wasn't just
everybody.
me. No, it
Was there
was-
like a whole?
It was a whole group. So
Crowd
pretty
of
much,
people.
all of the recess included like 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th
Oh,
grade,
yeah.
6th grade. Yeah. And so there were all kinds of kids. And I just remember there would always be a group around it just watching it. And probably a little bit thankful that it wasn't us that we were getting picked on.
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah. Why do you
Yeah.
do you think? I guess that's probably why people don't jump in, because maybe now it's going to be on you.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I was actually thinking about, going through, and we have some guidance as to, and I actually read, Pastor Jeff provides us, hey, here's what we're going to be talking about this week. And so it just so happens that I actually read what he sent me this time. And,
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, why didn't I step in at that age? Because now, as an adult, I look back, and it's easy for me to say, well, if I would have seen this kid picking on somebody else, that I would have stepped in.
Sure. And that's what we tell kids.
Right.
If you're seeing this, and it's okay to be the different one, it's okay to just jump in and, help somebody who's being bullied, or sit with the kid no one wants to sit with, or
Right.
any of those things, but you're saying not so much.
I agree with that, but
Right,
but
sure.
at the same time, I know that I'm not. It's just not me. I think we all have situations where we know something isn't right, but why do we hesitate to step in and do what's right?
What do you think?
And so I was thinking about how, like, in my mind, like, it's a natural process for me to evaluate, like, what is my risk to self, right, compared to how much I have compassion or care for the individual that's getting hurt.
Okay.
And I know that's not probably the best thing to think about, but it's just kind of the way that I am and was. And so what I mean by that is if I was to step in to this bully, the risk that I would have is he might turn his attention towards me, and now I'm the one that's getting bullied,
Right.
and I'm not getting any help from anybody, and so my risk is really big. So he might physically hurt me. He obviously would be picking on me and making fun of me. And so there's so many things that could go wrong with me in stepping in. And then I look at the relationship or the compassion or care that I had for this other person.
Okay.
He wasn't really my friend, right? And at that time I felt sorry for him, but it wasn't like it was my mom or my dad or my sister or my brother or like my best friend. And so I think that for me, I struggled because I had a lot of risk, but I didn't have much relationship with the person.
So is your sister older than you or younger?
She's older.
She's older. So if it was your sister,
Yep.
then what do you think, would your reaction have been different?
Well, yeah, because, you do, with your family, with people that you really genuinely care about, I think that regardless of whatever the risk is going to be, your care for them is immeasurably more than yourself.
More than the risk.
And so when you see somebody that you love and care about being harmed, you automatically just step in. You forget about yourself because of your care for them. And I guess I start thinking about it, and I have to admit that I think what Jesus tries to instruct us by loving God and loving one another is he's saying our goal in life is to care about everyone so much that our risk to self becomes insignificant. And I'm not quite there yet, Miss Angie. I still struggle with it because even today, I think, presented with a situation, I would probably look at the risk a lot of times instead of that person that's the victim or the one that's being wronged.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. That's a really good point. I can't think of anything else to say, so we're done for today. And no, that's a great point. And I think when you're saying, and I'm not there yet, that's the beauty of how Jesus works with us, and we can always ask God for help when we're struggling with something, and realizing this is something that maybe you want to work on in yourself, or that we all could use some help with things like that, jumping in when the risk is scary. We all could use some help with that, and I think that's cool about prayer. And we can ask for help in those situations, and maybe the more you try, you'll get better. You'll be able to stand up for somebody when your risk outweighs the care for that person. And it's a really good point. I don't think you're alone with that kind of thing, though. Have you ever seen those TV shows where they say, like, what would you do, and they'll show fake situations? And it's really interesting study on people. You see people just walking by, they don't want to get involved. They don't want to, step on anybody's toes for whatever reason.
Right.
It's an interesting thing in just being a human person and not being perfect. Because we're not perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty close.
You're getting pretty close.
I'm nowhere near close.
Nowhere near Pastor
close.
Jeff or,
right.
Yeah.
Pastor Jeff is not perfect.
No,
Especially after
he's
today,
not.
Miss Angie.
Yeah, that's right. Well, are you warmed up now?
I'm getting there, yep.
Okay, you got who do
It's
you
just
have
my
now?
brain that's frozen, so you're going to have to
Oh.
tell me what we talked about in about 5 minutes.
Well, I have some discussion questions that might spark your memory
All
about
right.
things we talked about. Okay, so let's just do a couple of these and see if you can remember.
Okay.
Okay, see where your brain's at. What is a prophet? What are prophets and what do they do?
You asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh. Well, prophets are who God used to spread and share the news. Like, so he'd have something to say, he'd tell the prophets, then the prophets would go and tell the people.
Yeah, just like Micah. We talked with Micah today.
Just like
That
Micah.
Interesting news story that we had there. Here's another question. What are some things that were wrong around Micah's time? Because we talked earlier about, you're a prophet and God
Miss
speaks
Angie's
to
going
you.
to answer this question.
Huh? Oh, sorry. And God speaks to you and you go in and you deliver this message, and maybe the people are like, yay, great, thank you for telling us that great thing. But what if, somebody goes in and goes, you're not going to like this. So what are some things that, was going on with Micah that he had to deliver news about that wasn't so good? Do you know?
Thank you, Miss Angie. Of course I know. Micah was, so I think, if I remember right, the prophets, right, were sharing maybe news that wasn't actually coming from God, and they would start sharing news and information that were in their interests. It wasn't really coming from God. They were talking about their own interests.
Can you imagine, though, how horrible that is? I just heard from God and you didn't, and a lot of false information there and self-serving.
Right.
Not so good.
No.
Not so good. So in comes Micah. And how did Micah stand up for what was right?
Well, he basically told everybody that was in the wrong that they were wrong.
And I bet they received that great.
Right.
and said, yes,
Right.
I'm ready to change.
Yes.
No.
No. You know, these prophets actually, the ones that had the integrity were the ones that we talked about that risk.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to just like say, hey, you one person. They were like saying, hey, all of you got to change.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And all kinds of people, whether you were, at a higher position
Right.
or a lower position or whatever, they had to, talk to everybody
Yeah.
and share that news for them. So if it were your job to bring news to your friends from God like Micah did, how would you feel delivering it? I think that question means like delivering bad news.
Sure.
So if
I
you had to bring some
would probably honestly pull like a Moses stunt, because we talked about Moses for like a year and a half. I'd be like, hey, suddenly my voice isn't so good. Maybe Pastor Jeff should be the one. He speaks really eloquently.
Or like pass
Send
a
Pastor
note.
Jeff.
Or pass a random note
Right.
and don't say who it's from,
Right.
or just say,
Oh, it's
you should
horrible
know.
that I'm admitting that.
Well, but it's human,
But
I
yes,
don't think
it'd be
people
hard.
are.
You know what? I think probably the first thing is I probably have to pray for courage.
Yeah.
Because it would be God's strength that would be the one that would be providing us that, right? Because,
Yeah, good point.
I mean, you look at it logically and say, I'm going to have to go deliver all the bad news to all these people.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Sign me up for that. No.
But I think the prophets had such a relationship with God that, they wanted to serve him and please him, and they knew that God was in control and powerful. So they could see past the power of the people and see God. And I think that's something that comes with the relationship, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Very good. Good answer, Dwight. Boy, you got a lot of good answers today. The freezing of
My
the...
brain is still frozen, Miss Angie.
I only have one more. Okay, one more. As people who follow God, why is it important to remember that others notice how we live? That's a big one.
That is a good question. So, Miss Angie,
Yes.
as people who follow God, why is it important to remember that
You're
people
throwing it back
notice
at
how we live?
Well, I think you represent God. If you say, yes, I'm a Christian, or yes, I love God, or you're wearing a t-shirt that says love God and something, and your actions don't line up with that, you're representing God in a poor way. We actually mentioned that when we were talking about the commandments. We talked about using God's name in vain, and we shouldn't do that, and a lot of the kids said, well, I don't do that. But we sort of put in, well, do your actions reflect, what your heart should? Are your actions pointing to Jesus? Are they telling others, by being a Christian, I want to act a certain way, and are you? Or not? Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you did.
I think
that was
so.
a really
Okay.
good answer, Miss Angie.
Thank you. Whew, we're full of good answers, aren't we?
We are. Well, we think so.
We think so.
Yeah.
We're the only ones here.
Don't we
it's
make
all
a really good team?
good. We did a good job.
If your answer is no, then
That's
keep watching.
Right. That's right. You need one more question. So if you don't like our answers, we have one more family discussion question. So you guys can sit around at home and see what you think about this. How will you choose to do what's right this week? And I think that's good for adults or kids.
That's a really good question, Miss Angie. How will you
think so?
choose to do what's right this week? Wow. Well, we always should be doing right?
Right.
Am I right? Or am I right?
Right.
But one of the things I guess that it makes me think about is what if we also included in there to talk about what we've seen or what we see that's maybe wrong? Like if we have a situation that we're faced with
Yeah.
or that we've recently faced with or something that's ongoing, right? That we notice that's going wrong, how can we do right in that situation?
Like your story about the kid that was getting picked on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe if kids have seen this in school, or maybe parents have seen something at work, they can
Right.
share it with each other and
Yeah.
see the ideas they come up with.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
good
cool.
idea. Lots of rights. Right. And with that, I think we should pray. Do you want to pray and close us out?
Sure.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the ability that we have to learn more about your character and the courage that you call us to be, to live a good life that is meant to stand up for what is right. And Lord, we can't do that without you. We just pray, Lord, for all the families and children, Lord, that are watching and listening, that you would provide them the courage that is needed. Provide all of us the courage that's needed to stand up for what is right. Lord, help us to trust you that when we do that, God, that you will stand by our side. And Lord, you are faithful, and we thank you for that. We thank you for your promises. We know that they're true. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Praying for courage. That's a very good point. And that whole thing, and I bet Micah did that a lot.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Yeah. So it's fun this month. We're talking about prophets, and all the news they had, but I don't want to give anything away about who's going to be here next week. So
Special surprise, huh?
special surprise. So
All
maybe
right.
we just close out and leave it at that.
Sounds
What do you
good.
think? Okay. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Let's move it.
Move your body, everybody.